Hey all, I hope you all are doing good today. I am going to do something a little bit different. I'm not going to go with seed beading today or looming or anything like that. Valentine's is around the corner, so I'm going to make my husband a necklace with this awesome bone feather pendant that I have. I was going to use it for myself, but it is so large, it's a little too large for a lady. So I'm going to use it for him, and I'm just going to kind of hang out and put a necklace together. I don't know how much of a tutorial it's really going to be, but we can call it a bead along, or we can just, if you want to get ideas on how to put a necklace together, we'll kind of just hang out and do some beading. So as far as supplies go, you're going to need some kind of pendant, you know, whatever you like, some kind of pendant that you have. And I'm going to use some beading wire here. It's not very heavy wire. It's, I don't quite know how to read this, 0.15 inches. So it's not very thick, but it's, you don't want it to be very thick, because if your wire's too thick, the necklace isn't going to hold any shape. So when you put it around your neck, it's going to hold the shape of the wire and not hang it with the shape of the beads and, you know, lay naturally. So I wasn't going to use wire, but I kind of measured what he wanted, and he's going to have a clasp on the back to clasp it instead of it just going directly over his head to put it on. So I'm going to use wire so that I can attach the clasp really nice and it'll stay together really well. And then I also have these little wire pincher things. I don't know what they're called. Horrible. Little cinchers that you stick. I don't know if you can see those. You stick it between the two wires and pinch them together, and that'll hold it together. So I will later show you how those work. They're actually super easy to use. And then you're going to need some kind of a clasp. I need to grab mine. Hang on, I didn't grab them. I don't know where they're at. I just didn't get them out. And I was debating with this on what kind of a clasp to use. I do have, like, if I can get them apart, I do have like little magnetic ones, but they're kind of bright and girly looking. And I also do have the, I don't know what these are called either, where you stick them inside. And those are more for bracelets for me. I don't know about for necklaces. So I'm just going to use the standard clasps here that you would get on any necklace, really. So you're going to need a clasp. And I got, yeah, it's like one of these right there. So you're going to need one of those. And you're going to need some jewelry, I call them pliers. And this you'll use to pinch together these little things I showed you, to pinch them together. And that should be pretty much it, besides your beads and your pendant and whatever you want to use to make your necklace. And so I'm gonna bring my camera down. I have two bead mats out here. I don't have one of those really nifty layout pads where they can lay out the whole necklace and it's like grooved and holds the beads. I used to a long time ago when I was really, really young, like in grade school, but that was plastic and I believe that it broke. And I just have not gotten one since grade school. I think my grandma gave it to me for Christmas or something. It was super fun. So I used it till it broke, and I haven't had one since. So the bead mat works just fine. Something to be able to lay your beads out, and where they're not going to be rolling around and stuff. So I'm going to bring you all down here, kind of show you what I got laid out here. So as far as my beads go, if you can see them, I might not use them all. I might use them all. I don't know. I just kind of dug around in what I had and what I thought looked nice together. So here I have my my crow beads. And I thought those would make nice little spacers here and there, just to put a few on. And then I have my hair pipe bone and my hair pipe horn beads. And he liked those a lot, so I'm going to try and get as many of those in there as I can. I don't have a whole lot of these, So I found some little wooden little tube beads that I could kind of use to fill in between, so I don't use all these up, because I did have some plans for them, but I don't know if I have enough to make the necklace, because my necklace is going to be 13 inches long, and so it's going to be pretty long. And then I also have these little, these are, I believe, hematite, just kind of little random, they kind of almost look like little shell ones. And I thought those would look neat stacked along the side in certain places. And I also have little like onyx ones over here. I have them separated, one for each side. So that way, oh, we lost a bead down here. So that way I have them evened out. I think I have a few more if I do need to dig out more. And then I do have some more magnetic hematite beads. I don't know if I'll use these. I kind of like the look of them. But I'm just going to kind of wing it and go as I go, and you guys can hang out with me and while I get it put together. So let's get going on this. I'm going to start getting creative here. So that's the bad thing about those magnetic ones. I can't get them to where they won't attract to each other. Stay there. Okay. I like these little guys. These are like little tiger eye ones. They're really cute, really pretty. I don't know if those will go through that hole on that. Sometimes you gotta check. No, I think we're okay. That's a different bead. I kind of have these mixed together with other beads. You can tell it's like glass. I want to use that stone instead. I want those tiger eyes on there. I think this is going to look really neat. He's going to love this. Go. I think I'm going to add these onyx ones on. I might put it, or if I can find, let me see if I can find 2 more of those so I can put a hematite bead with it. Maybe that was pretty much all I have of those. This one. These pretty beads were gifted to me by my sister. She had a whole bunch of them, and they just weren't using them, and she shows up and gives me a whole, I mean, like, these big containers. She gave me like 3 or 4 containers worth of beads, and they weren't, you know, like just cheap crappy beads. They are beautiful, different stones and amazing cuts and just beautiful beads. And she just showed up and gave them to me. I was like, oh my gosh, that is so amazing. And she's like, I thought if anybody could appreciate it, it'd be you. So I was like, well, you were right on that one. So that was a really cool gift. I remember that day. That was awesome. And I asked her, I think, like 3 times, oh, are you sure? Oh my gosh, are you sure? You know, because it's not every day somebody just walks up and hands you a whole bunch of beads. Okay, yeah, I wanted to get a few more of those. Some are kind of thick and some are kind of thin. This one's really thick. I'm going to put that one with that group. There we go. I wanted to have a few more on that, make it kind of look really neat. And we're going to put those there. Like, those will line up and look way cooler, but that was just the coolest gift ever. I was so touched by that. I thought that was so nice of her. And I have made the coolest stuff with them, too. Just beautiful beads. One of these days I'll have to show you guys all my beads, because I have some awesome ones. Now, the length of it is going to be 13. I only go to 12 here, so we have a ways to go. I'm going to get a few more crow beads here. But you know, I'm not going to lie, I think we're all kind of going through it right now. I am going through kind of a broke phase at the moment. So I was like, you know, can I make your gift? And he was like, because he's like, I was like, I just can't afford anything for you. And, you know, we've been together for 20 odd years. So, you know, holidays like this aren't as big of a deal as they were when we were younger. And I told him, I was like, you know, I'm kind of short on money. Can I make you something? And I showed him the pendant, and he was like, really? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, definitely. He was like, that thing's really cool. So he's not one for jewelry, but he has been wearing the bracelet I made him a lot, which is very touching. I don't know if he's doing it just to make me feel good, but it's so funny him not being into jewelry. I love jewelry and he's not that into it, so to each his own, I guess. Kind of want to incorporate more of those black beads in. I don't know if I'm liking the wooden beads. I think I'm going to take the wooden beads out. I'm not really liking what I'm seeing with it. They just don't quite go. But that's okay. So we'll do a black down here and then a white. And another black. I think I'm going to have enough. I was kind of using those as filler because I wasn't sure if I'd have enough. Yeah, I like that better. I like that a lot better. And let's see. Crew beads here. do want to incorporate more of that hematite though. So let me find those. I have a ton of this hematite. I had some previously, and then when my sister gave me this, it's so funny, you pull them out of there and they're all like balled up in this ball because they're all magnetic. But I wanted to see, I know I have some tube beads of it in here, but I was hoping to have some more of those little, like these. Those are tiny, tiny. I love using these, but I don't use a lot of them because they're so magnetic, and then when you make a jewelry set, it kind of makes things set weird. Yeah, I like that. These are kind of big though. And this is part of doing a necklace or bracelet with loose beads like this. It's more about just, actually, you know what I'm thinking? Let's see if I can find one of these. There's a few. One right here. It's more about just kind of playing around and getting things set up. I always like to lay it out and set it out before I put it together, because if I don't like something, I can remove it while it's on the pad instead of tearing on. I think that's all of those. That's pretty much all of those that I have. 4, 6, same size, 8. I think what I'm going to do with these is I'm going to put these in between the crow beads instead of the tiger eye. So, like that. I don't have any between. Actually, before I do that, I should probably make sure it's not going to go through. I think that'll look cool. Okay. Do a couple of those. Oh, that's another one of those off ones. Almost to our 13, I think. Give or take a few. I think I will have enough of these. Yay! I wasn't sure if I'd have enough of these little guys here. Actually, I'm going to do crow on those, because I have enough for one more set of those. These little guys. Go. I don't even know if you can see what I'm doing over here. I'm all the way over off camera. Excuse me. do black or a horn bead, and then I'm gonna do probably 2 or 3 of these to finish it. Now that might not be quite 13, or it might be. We will find out. Alright, I'm gonna kind of move these aside so they aren't in my way. These I'm gonna just put away because I didn't use these. And then ready to put it together. This is gonna look so cool. Oh my gosh, it's awesome. I love it. And I did have enough. I wasn't quite sure if I would, because it was gonna be a long one. And that's kind of the basic setup there of the necklace. It doesn't even fit all on there. There we go. Kind of see it a little better. Try and get my baggie open from the leftovers here. Oops. Now we can put it together. Looks neat. I like it. I think it'll be perfect. Alright, forgot I had my curtains closed. It's probably kind of dark there for you. Sorry about that. Let's get it put together here. I'm going to try and gently push this aside a little. My stuff. I need a bigger table, I think. Don't we all say that? Okay. Kind of gently push this up a little bit so I have a little bit of workspace. I can move my ruler. Now, you're going to want to take some wire. Get a little, some wire here. And like I said, you're going to want a more, kind of a more flimsy wire. You don't want one that's like stiff and hard to bend, because you want it to lay natural when you lay it down. And where's my measure tape? I like to use a fabric one. I got this on sale, and I like to use a fabric one because it's flexible. So we're going to need, I'm going to go up to probably about 16, and then I'm going to do that again. And then I'm going to just snip that. I always like to line these back up where they kind of lose control and your wire gets all bunched up and crinked. And okay, maybe that's the trick with these. The wire wants to come off the spool every time you put the thing on. Okay. Go. And we're going to need our clasp, and we're going to need 2 of our crimps here, our wire crimps. These are so tiny, it's so hard to get out what you need. Just like that. Now, I'm going to use my larger end, and I always like to check, because sometimes these things on this little hoop here, sometimes there's a little gap, and I always make sure that that's sealed, because if it's not, your wire is going to go right through that, and that looks like that one's got a really nice seal on it. And you just take, oops, I need to get one of these on here first. You take your little crimper and put it on, like that, and then you take your little clasp and you put that end on there, and then you just kind of bend it over the clasp and stick that end into the crimp. Came off on me. Stick it into that crimp if I can get it. Like that. You'll see that crimp. See how I got that in there like that? Just like that. And I'm going to pull it down just a little. I like to pull it as close to that as I can. Like so. You get that crimp right there. And then you take your pliers, the flat pliers work the best, and you just give it a hard pinch. Just pinch it really, really tight. And that is going to hold that on there, just like that. And then your clasp is on there, and it looks nice and clean and professional, and there's no knots or anything involved. And that should hold nice and well. And then we will start putting our beads on. Now when you put your beads on, that little extra tail here is going to get lost in those beads. I'm going to actually trim just a tiny little bit off of there, like so. So we take our other end and we start putting together our necklace. Really simple enough. Oh, this looks so pretty. Love it. When I bring my first few beads down, I like to put that wire together and make sure that that wire is going to go through those beads, because that'll hide that tail from you. There we go. Now it's nice and snug together, and the tail is out of sight. And it hides everything really nice and well. It makes it look really like professionally made, basically like you bought it in the store. And then I just go down my row of what I had put together, and we'll kind of eyeball it and see if we need to add more. So if you do need to add more, try and add it down here more towards your pendant, because you're going to want both sides to be identical and match up, or the necklace will lay crooked. I think it's going to look really nice though. I think it's perfect size. I'm doing this while he's out running around, so I don't have to worry about it. See, that looks really cool. Oh my gosh. Love it. I love those tiger eye beads. Those are so pretty. I don't know if I've used those yet. You know, since this is the end over here was our end of our necklace, and this is going to be your pendant down here, you're going to want to start on one of these ends. Either or, it doesn't matter. If the pattern matches up, it doesn't matter. And if you, like, this is a two-sided pendant, those sides are carved, so it doesn't matter, but you're going to want to start on that one end there and just work your way down. Oh, that looks really cool. I like it. I like it a lot. I wanted to use like a cord or a sinew, but I didn't have any, and like I said, he needed a clasp, so I was like, well, I guess I'll just use wire. And wire is so easy to do, a necklace with wire. Five inches there. I like to kind of measure as I go, make sure I'm kind of on track. And you can just get creative. Do whatever you want, whatever beads you have. Just do what you like. And they're super easy and fast gifts to make too. Make something special for your friends or family. It's real easy to do. I did want to do one on, well, I would call them modern day trade beads. They're not really trade beads like they were in the past, but they look like trade beads. I wanted to do some necklaces on that too. I have to get the right thread for them first. These little obsidian stones here. Wish I would have had a few more of those. I'm a little short, I think. So, since I'm a little bit short, I think I might add another horn bead on here. That's what I'll do. Gotta remember I'm doing that on the other side, though. Still gonna be a little short. Let's put another. That's why it's good to measure as you go. He wants his long, so. That should be good. Close enough. Babe. Yeah, that's close enough. I'm going to trim this little tail, I think. Just a touch. This keeps sticking out of that bead on me. Maybe. There we go. There. Pretty much. That's good enough. We don't want to. I don't think I want to add another bead because then we're going to be too far. Should be perfect. We're going to add our pendant here. Nice. Oh, that's nice. I think that'll hang pretty too. Actually, I think I'm going to put bead there. Okay. Sorry, got a phone call there, but I do think I'm going to put, kind of think I want to put something here so when it hangs, it sets nicer. I need something flat. I think I have the perfect bead. Let me find it. If I can find two of them, I hope. And then I have like little flatter things. They're really cool. I wanted to use anyway. I hope I have two of those. Yep, I do. Awesome. So we'll put those on there, and that'll maybe kind of flat out, set flush next to the pendant a little better. Plus, it'll add her a little extra space we needed. And see, this is kind of a trial and error as you go. You plan it out as best you can, but sometimes as you plan, it doesn't work quite as you wanted. together. It's a nice heavy necklace. Okay. Oops. Throw it down on the ground or on the table there all hard. And don't worry about being all flush together yet, because we still have to string the rest of our beads. So we'll start putting on our next row. I got to keep an eye on what I did here because I changed it up. Did a white one. And a brown one, and I think that was all I added. I think it's looking wonderful. Okay. And we can go back to our pattern here. Do a white one. One of these. And then all of these. Push my sleeves up. All these little guys. You always want to give yourself a little bit of extra wire to work with after, so that when you're done you can have enough space to work with. You're not working with a real short piece. I think this is turning out neater than I thought it would. Wasn't quite sure how it'd look, but I'm really liking how it's turning out. Almost done stringing here. They're so fun to make though. Kind of just go with whatever colors or beads you like or think they're pretty. Just kind of get a little pattern with them. There, that's all of them strung. I'm going to double check my pattern and make sure we're the same. And it looks nice. Okay, now we can put our last clasp on. I like to push up my beads and make sure they're nice and flush. You don't want to go too tight or it'll warp it, make it set warped. But you want it to be nice and tight. I'm going to get rid of this. Now I'm going to take this other clasp off this one. Get that taken off of there. That way we can attach it. Just kind of bringing it down and tightening it there. Okay. Looks like we're good and tight. Now, we want to put our clamp or our clamp thing on here, the little itty bitty guy that we clamp down. And then we want to put on this guy, the other part of our clasp. And now these little clasps like this are kind of tricky because one side has a really big hole and one side has a tiny hole. And make sure that you're stringing that tiny hole because your clasp has to go into that bigger hole. So always make sure that you've got that tinier hole strung and not the big one, because then it won't clasp. Okay, stick that on there. Then we're going to want to bring our wire down through the crimp bead, the little metal crimp bead that we used on the other side. We got another one over here, and we want to bring our wire in through that. Now pull that down, and that will clasp your other part of your, that'll grab onto that. Now see how that's offset, see that? So we want to pull our beads down. We want to make sure, because if you clasp it or crimp it and then you're offset, then you're going to have a big piece of wire like that, and it's going to offset your entire necklace. So always make sure that your beads are all where you want them to be and lined up. And sometimes you got to kind of go down the middle and over here, and then I like to just, where's he at here? I just kind of hold it. I'll bring it down and I just kind of hold it, and you got to work with it a little bit. Just be careful not to push down that clasp or that clamper, or it'll hold on to it. See how I've kind of worked my way back down closer to the bead. And I like to double check that it's nice and snug. I'll probably go down just a little more. And pulling on this tail here helps to kind of bring it down close. And it looks like we got a nice snug fit here. I think it looks nice and snug. And what I do is I take my finger, I kind of pull down that clamp bead, and then I hold onto the necklace part, and I just kind of pull that tail, and that'll hold that tight. And it looks like we're nice and snug. We got I think everything's where it's supposed to be. Let me double check myself here. Nope, we need to go tighter. Even tighter still. And that's why you do this. You gotta make sure everything's where it's supposed to be. Because otherwise you're gonna have the weird excess going on here, and it's not gonna look nice or clean at all. Pull that clamp down. there. I think that's perfect. Looks good to me. It's just working with it just a little. It takes a minute. And then we're going to clamp that down. Like so. With a nice hard squeeze. Make sure that's squished. Make sure it's flat, like a pancake. There we go. Got that on there, and I'm not going to cut this whole tail off. I'm just going to cut a little bit. I think I'm going to go down a little ways, and then what I do is I string that through. And this is the tricky part, really. It's getting it strung through the other bead. I like to string it through the beads. So I got into 1, 2. Gets in that third bead. There it is. Sometimes you need your pliers to kind of pull that through. There we go. So I got my tail through those other beads, and I'm going to cut that nice and taut so that it hides the tail. Don't cut your actual necklace though, you don't want to cut that. Like so, and that other piece will hide in that bigger bead. Give that another squeeze just to double check. All right, and there we have it. That is our necklace. It's super simple, super fun to do. I think it turned out beautifully. Absolutely beautiful. Let me bring the camera up. It'll fit over my head. And that's the outcome. That's the, well, my headphones are in the way, but that is our necklace. And see how easy that was? It was super easy. It doesn't take but a minute, and it's a wonderful gift for somebody. And if you have a lot of cool beads you want to use, it's a great way to use up your beads. And I hope I helped you guys, and I hope you guys enjoy making your necklaces. Thanks for coming by. Feel free to leave a comment and like and subscribe.